Hi guys, and welcome back to Beer, Wine, and Shine. This here is a half gallon of some stuff that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. But on January 4th, 2022, or 2023, I'm sorry, I put in one spiral stick of medium toast plus French oak. I'm just going to give it a little taste test here. It's looking pretty dark, not going to lie. That is dark, dark, dark. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. First of all, that has definitely got to come off. That is strong. It almost has like a syrupy. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Eagle Rare. I got a bottle of Eagle Rare 10. That's what that reminds me of right there. In my opinion, Eagle Rare is over oaked. That is definitely there. I didn't think it would get that oaked that fast. This is the first time I've ever tried to oak anything with a spiral. But that is like black. However, this is 120 proof. I put this in here at 120. I could back it down to I could put that other pint in there and then back it down to 120 or 100. Back it down to 100. See how that tastes. But let me get it off that oak first. All right, guys. I wanted to come back to this right here. Oops. I put it in this gallon jug here because I was gonna dilute it and try to play around with it a little bit, but I think I've kind of changed my mind. There's a lot of things that you could do with something like this. Don't just throw it away. Like, for the love of God, don't throw it out. So I can set some of this back and use it to flavor. So the big boys, they'll take whiskey from multiple barrels in their warehouse, test them, and blend them until they get to a flavor profile that they put on the shelf. No two barrels are ever the same, but yet the bottle that you buy at the store is. Okay, and that's how they do it. So this has a lot of vanillins and a lot of the French oak flavor. You know, I can play around with it with some other whiskeys. If I've got some whiskey that's lightly oaked, and I want to maybe try to see what a little bit more would do, or I mean, there's plenty of instances. I mean, I can just play around with it. I mean, eventually it'll get drank, and all else fails, I can throw it back in the still. So every year, I do a sugar wash for liqueurs and stuff like that. Okay, just to have some kind of a neutral spirit. I keep it at a high proof, and that's what I do. But also in that sugar wash, I'll dump things that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. um, for whatever reason, whether I had problems running the still, whether it was a liqueur that didn't work out, um, whatever the reason, a wine that didn't work out, a beer that didn't work out, whatever. It's all got alcohol in it. I'm going to distill it. Okay? So all else fails, I can throw this in there with that sugar wash and pull the alcohol back out of it and leave the oak. Okay? When I tasted this, I remember, and I just had a little bit of it a little bit ago, but it really kind of reminded me of Eagle Rare, to be honest. Now, not the same flavor in the whiskey, but as far as the oaking, the strong oak, Eagle Rare is black. I could go get a bottle of it, but I'm lazy. And that's what that reminds me of. Jack Daniels is black, okay? Jack Daniels, as everybody knows, goes wonderful with Coca-Cola, not cane. Well, I mean, it goes good with that too, but that's another story. Now, this whiskey here is not very good whiskey. I had problems with the still when I ran this, okay? I was trying out a PID controller. I was out in my shop. It was 20 degrees. Just not a good situation to try to be running good alcohol. So I ended up taking away the PID and just running it manual, and I was able to finish it out and get it ran. But the whiskey itself just isn't very good. So that's why I oaked it to begin with. I was trying to play around with it and experiment. So this whole thing from the start was an experiment. Now I got a little bit more to just play with. So I guess my whole point is don't throw it out. I was on a forum and somebody said that once you over oak, you lost it. And I just don't agree with that at all. I mean, everybody's got their own opinions and everybody can do what they will, but I mean, in my opinion, now I've got some product here that I can just play with when I'm bored. Try it in other whiskeys and see how that changes the flavor. The only downfall is that the whiskey's not good. Like, it's not a good whiskey to begin with. So the fact that if you put it in another whiskey that you're trying to see what a darker oak blend would do, the whiskey itself is going to come through too, and maybe not be as enjoyable. The one thing I know I'm not going to do is throw it out. So that concludes this video, and there's really not a whole lot else I can say about it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time on Beer, Wine, and Shine.